It's another edition of new music today here on the WePodcast network. I'm Corey Robertson, and Bobby Sproat joins me today for another basement session. So, what is it about rock stars? What is it about music stars that identify with us so much, especially when one passes away? What a couple of weeks it has been here at the end of 2017, first with Tom Petty and now with Gord Downie of the Tragically Hip. Something about music that reaches out to people and it touches you. Why is that? Because it touches so many of your senses and so many of your emotions. Of course, it's what you hear and you like the sounds that you hear, but it's what you see and then it's what you begin to feel. And that's why music takes us back so easily to places and times in our life, to, as the Beatles once said, to people and things that have gone before. So, with this in mind, I think that's where we'll start the conversation. Bobby, thank you for joining me.
Oh,
It's
thank you
sure
for
such a
having me.
pleasure to have you here today.
Absolutely, thank you.
You know, you think about people have different favorite musicians, and what touched me this week is, well, certainly I personally identified with the hip, and I grew up with that music, but what really hit me was really how the entire country kind of almost shut down. I mean, the prime minister was on TV crying about it,
Yeah.
right? Are there favorite musicians that you have that have touched you in a way that maybe have gone away?
Recently, there's been quite a bit. Whether or not I listened to them a lot, but when hearing of their passing just really resonated with me. Of more recent ones, definitely Chris Cornell,
Yeah,
Soundgarden, Chester Bennington of Linkin Park.
yeah.
Both of those hit me hard. I was at the Joe Louis Arena the same night that Soundgarden played at the Fox Theater. That last show of theirs,
No kidding.
while I was seeing Hall and Oates, and they were
Yeah,
playing just 10 minutes away, and then waking up the next day to find out that we no longer had Chris Cornell,
yeah,
or waking up one day and finding out that Linkin Park doesn't have a singer anymore.
yeah.
It really really hits home. And another one that really resonates with me is Buddy Holly, because I remember hearing about the plane crash that he died in, and he
Sure.
was about 22, 23 years old,
Absolutely.
and that's how old I am now. And growing up listening to, like, my parents would play every day, like, a whole lot, and it's one of my favorite songs. And just we want musicians to sort of live forever, because and they do in their music, but it's just you never think about what life would be like when they're gone.
We do want them to live to forever, and we also want to keep them to ourselves sometimes, right?
Absolutely.
We feel like we discovered that band, we discovered that music, and it became so personal. It started to take you back, and of course, there's such a classic song, American Pie, which is about Buddy Holly. Funny that you bring it up,
Yeah.
right? And the refrain that comes over and over in that song is that it's the day the music died, and it's cool that you bring that one up because with Buddy Holly's plane crash, and there were some other musicians on the plane. Big Bopper was on the plane, and
Absolutely.
and a few other guys like that. But it's really the first one. It's really the first major one that. And Buddy Holly's one of the first legitimate rock and roll stars, not necessarily music star, but
For
but
sure.
but when rock and roll was young, um, and I think that's a good point, that we want them to live forever. Who did you grow up listening to?
I grew up, my parents played a lot of the Guess Who. They remember telling me that
Yeah.
being maybe like 4 or 5 years old, just rocking out to These Eyes, not knowing anything really about the song, but just the dun 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 dun, like, just being young and
Right, yeah.
being just
Yeah,
encompassed by the
yeah.
music. So we listened to a lot of Guess Who. I grew up listening to a lot of like rock music, like 90s rock music, Nirvana,
Yeah,
Creed, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, things
cool.
like that.
Cool. So you're a new singer-songwriter with a debut album, New Romantics. Tell me about your songwriting process. When you talk about some of these maybe these, I don't know, I want to call them mentors, but certainly and maybe music that's inspired you and a part of your growing up. So when you're sitting down and you start to get the muse and you start thinking, well, wait a minute, I think I got something here. I got some cool lyrics in my mind. Maybe you write them down. You're starting to work it out. What's your process?
Usually, well, when I first started at writing songs, I've been writing songs for about 10 years now, but when I first started, I didn't know how to play any instruments. So I would just be coming up with these melodies and these song ideas and writing out these lyrics, and it would just all be a cappella. So my process has always sort of been like that. I've always been a melody and lyrics, then music kind of person.
Mm.
But as I've sort of delved into this acoustic singer-songwriter pop kind of vibe,
Yeah.
I've been trying to create them both at the same time. And that might make it a little bit more difficult because I'm thinking of multiple things at once. But there'll be times where I'll just be really in a groove and I'll crank out a song in half an hour, or there'll be times where I just finished a new song that I've had an idea for maybe 2 years now. So
Right.
it's a hit or miss, but I'm trying to sort of surround myself with everything as opposed to what I used to do of going one bit and then doing the rest of it after.
Right. So I'm gonna get you to play a couple of songs for me here on the basement session. Tell me a little bit about what the first song "Do What You Want" is about, where it came from.
Do What You Want. Do What You Want was one of the first songs that I wrote for New Romantics, and I had this idea, and I remember being out with my dad, and we were looking for stuff for the garden, and I just got this melody idea, and I had it on I had my phone, and I wanted to record it, and I was like, but we're in public, so how am I going to go about doing this? I don't want to lose the idea, so I just pulled my phone out and just whispered it into a voice memo on my phone, and I get back home
Right.
and I crank out the guitar, and I'm just ideas start flowing and flowing and flowing. And really, like, you could interpret it in many ways, but I like to think of Do What You Want as just being in, like, sort of this free-spirited relationship with somebody where, like, it's almost like it's no holds barred, but at the same time, it's just you're both free spirits and sort of a whatever happens happens sort of relationship.
All right. The debut album is called New Romantics. This is Bobby Sproat. Do What You Want on New Music Today.
Can I leave an impression on your skin? 'Cause girl, I got an obsession, and who knows where it has been. I feel you on my body light. Can we make it through the night? Come on closer, set me free. Just do what you want of me. Oh, you touch me, you taste, oh, you got my heart racing. You shot me, you got me. Now you set the pace when we're alone. So don't let me go. Oh, oh. Girl, you know that I adore you. And when I feel your touch, oh, it makes me so high. Yeah, it makes me so high. Girl, you know I'm fighting for you. And when you feel the rush, it's the time of your life. It's the time of your. So should we move slow? I don't know. Can you show me just a little bit more of you before you have to let me go? Oh, do what you want in my body. Do what you want if you're down to get naughty. If you want me to believe, just do what you want. You touch me, you taste, oh, you got my heart racing. You shot me, you got me. Now you set the pace when we're alone. So don't let me go. Oh, oh, oh. Girl, you know that I adore you. And when I feel your touch, oh, it makes me so high. Yeah, it makes me so high. Girl, you know I'm fighting for you. And when you feel the rush, it's the time of your life. It's the time of your life. So do what you want to me, baby. Do what you want, 'cause you're driving me crazy. Do what you want, but baby, don't let go. Do what you want, 'cause we're in control. So go do what you want to me. Na 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 na. Oh. No, no. Ooh. There's a time and a place for everything. If the toy's what you want, come pull my string. Love is in the air, I'll be your flang. Do what you want of me, oh. Just do what you want of me, oh. Just do what you want of me. So go do what you want to me. Oh, oh. Girl, you know that I adore you. And when I I feel your touch, oh, it makes me so high. Yeah, it makes me so high. Girl, you know I'm fighting for you. And when you feel the rush, it's the time of your life. It's the time of your life. So do what you want when you want to me, baby. Do what you want, cause you're driving me crazy. Go do what you want to. Go do what you want of me, baby. Go do what you want of me. Go do what you want of me, baby.
Bobby Sproat. That is Do What You Want on New Music Today. Another basement session here on the WePodcast network. I get little vibes of like Jason Mraz in there and, and things like that. You know, I can tell. I think you've listened to. You can tell that kind of background from you.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Do I get a sense? Are you self-taught? Did you take a lot of lessons growing up?
Depending on what part of music really varies the answer. I started out, I taught myself how to sing when I was 8 years old, and I did that in secret because I didn't.
Right? Yeah.
When you're 9 years old, you don't necessarily want to be the guy that's like, oh, that's the guy that sings. But
Sure.
little do I know. So I taught myself for 5 years. I took lessons for 4, and then I've sort of been going about it myself. I took guitar lessons for a couple years here or there, but I'm a really big advocate of just going with the flow and experiencing it yourself.
Sure.
I never really wanted to learn by the book, and whether that's my own detriment or not. I liked the idea of just experiencing it yourself and like teaching yourself, because I've always felt if you go by the book, I was like, oh, I need to be able to do this by then. I need to do this by then. It just sort of steals the fun from music for me.
Yeah, you know, that's interesting because you talk to different people and everybody comes from a different background, right? Some people come from I had grade 8 Royal Conservatory music, or I'm classically trained, and yet I kind of drifted over to rock, and then other people sort of say, I don't know, I just figured it out on my own, and there's just such a great story that sticks out in my mind about so many different people, and B.B. King was like that.
Okay.
B.B. King was one of those guys who, and he was in that old U2 film Rattle and Hum, and he was going to play that song with U2, and they were Bono was making this joke about how Edge can't play any solos, and B.B. King says, I never learned how to play any chords, and you're like, what really?
Yeah.
Wow. And that kind of, I just thought of that story when you said that, because it really is. I love what you said, that I think music, it identifies to us as listeners, and it takes you in a certain journey, but as a singer and a songwriter, the same can be said.
Absolutely.
Right? I love that. Let me have a little fun here with you musically. First album you ever bought with your own money, paid your cash for it. First album you bought.
Creed Greatest Hits.
Awesome. Greatest Hits.
Yes.
Yeah, you can't go wrong there, right?
They'd already broken up by the time I really got into them. But
Right. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. First concert?
First concert, Scott Stapp, singer of Creed, after they broke up. Saw them at Clutch Cargo's in 2005.
Yeah. And when that was on his solo?
I was on his solo, yes, when he first went solo.
Clutch Cargo's.
Yes.
That's getting back there a few years for sure. All right. Let me see if I can catch you on this one here. Secret celebrity crush?
Anne Hathaway.
Come on, he's not even hesitating. That's awesome.
It's always been Anne Hathaway.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And she can sing.
Yes.
She is a heck of a voice on her. Yeah, absolutely. Let's get another song from you. This is also from the album called New Romantics. This is Bobby Sproat, and this is Short Story on New Music Today.
I see the moon sit softly on your fingertips, and I feel your heart beat faster when you're pressed against my lips. I can see your body move, even though you don't want it to. Girl, don't you know it's true? 1 + 1 = me and you. Somebody write me a short story symphony. Let's flip to the ending, girl, oh, so you can be with me. Somebody write me a short story, nice and sweet. Skip all the fluff, fix it and rough. Just tell it how it's supposed to be. You feel a cold wind blowing, sending shivers down your spine. Your mind may say no, but your eyes are saying that you're mine, and you're fine, so fine. You can see your body move, and now you're looking like you wanted to. Girl, don't you know it's true? 1 + 1 = me and you. Somebody write me a short story symphony. Let's flip to the ending, girl, so you can be with me. Somebody write me a short story, nice and sweet. Skip all the fluff, fix it rough. Just tell it how it's supposed to be. I wanna know you, wanna adore you. I wanna know you, wanna adore you. You can see your body move, even though you don't want it to. Girl, don't you know it's true? Don't you know it's true? You can see your body move, and now you're looking like you wanted to. Girl, don't you know it's true? 1 + 1 = me and you. Somebody write me a short story symphony. Let's flip to the ending, girl, so you can be with me. Somebody write me a short story, nice and sweet. Skip all the fluff, fix it rough. Just tell it how it's supposed to be. Just tell it how it's supposed to be. Just tell it how it's supposed to be.
That is Bobby Sproat on New Music Today. There's a lot of positivity that comes out of your music.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit.
Yeah. What inspires you?
Honestly, my biggest inspiration when it comes to writing songs is love. I love the idea of having, like, a couple having our song and that connection to an artist. That was what got me into music, was just having that emotional connection to artists and to their songs. That's why I named the album New Romantics. Just the idea of having a song of mine, you know, a guy finds it and is like, listens, sends it to his girlfriend. It's like, babe, I think this is our song. Like, creating new romantics through my music.
That's awesome. You know, I can hear too. I think, like, I hear the writing come out of you. You know, I hear a lot of poetry that comes first, I think, and I think I hear that a lot in music, in a lot of songs that I like, that speaks to me. You know, we were talking a lot about your process at the beginning of this show. Do you find you write the words first and then the lyrics start, or then the melody starts to come to you? Do you find it's kind of all at the same time because there's a natural prose or pentameter to it?
Most of the time, the melody will come along with the lines,
Uh-huh.
but there are a lot of times where I'll have lyrics that I like and I want to try to fit it in some way, and I might have a little piece of music that I'll see if I can combine the two or just sort of come up with something on my own. But I've always been one to sort of come up with a melody and the words at the same time, just sort of like they're rather than there being two different entities, they're always been the same entity for me.
Right. Yeah. I also get a lot of pop sensibility out of your melodies and out of your songs. So congratulations. That's really awesome. So let me ask you another little fun one here.
Okay.
Is there a song in particular that's like a dirty little secret song that's like that secret song that you just, you know what, yeah, I love it.
Yeah, there's two right away that always come to my mind when I play cover gigs. My two favorites are R. Kelly's Ignition remix.
Yeah, Hot and Fresh out the kitchen.
That's a big favorite of mine. But probably number one would be Lou Bega's Mambo Number 5.
Come on.
That's that on. Truth be told, that's one of my favorite songs.
Right.
I think I'm one of the few people that knows all the words to it.
Remember when I think they used like a 10-second clip of it for a Friends thing back when Friends was on TV, and because, you know, a little bit of Monica in my life and whatnot. That was awesome. That's hilarious. You know, the thing for me about art is in music falling into that category is that we talked talked a lot about this already. It speaks to me as the listener. It speaks to you as the person who crafted it. And yet we cannot help ourselves from, judging and creating awards and accolades and things like that. But you know what? It's nice to be thought of, right? It's nice to be patted on the
Absolutely.
back, and you've got a couple of nice ones. You got a couple of nice ones. A couple of years ago, 2014, Windsor Independent Magazine, Best Male Solo Artist.
Yeah, that was a big one. That was right when I sort of started becoming like a solo artist. I had been in bands in the Windsor music scene prior, but that was my first year of being strictly a solo artist, and you could say I campaigned a lot, but it really meant a lot to me to win. More so, less than to win, but to be in the same like thought of as the other musicians like Dave Russells and your James Owells that have been around and have that veteran tenure in the Windsor music scene, just being like categorized in the same like I said, the same thought as them.
Yeah.
I won New Romantics, so finished third in Best Local Album this past year, which was a huge honor for me because my partner and I had spent a whole year recording that album, just recording it, but the writing process had been a 3-4 year process.
Sure.
So to have been so well received by like people in Windsor, it's honestly probably my biggest accomplishment yet, is just the recognition that album's gotten.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Tell me about the Windsor music scene. You've been playing now, supporting yourself for the better part of, would you say, 5, maybe even 6 years now?
Yeah.
Where have you seen little subtle changes in your time?
Oh, absolutely. I've seen when I first started in the music scene in around 2011, you had a few people that would be like the main bookers. You'd have your venues like the Chubby Pickles and the Blind Dogs. And I would be 15 years old at the time, and so I wouldn't know any better, but we'd have a couple people that would book the shows. They'd get some of the bigger names in, and then they'd fill the rest of the bill with local acts. So you got a lot of experience, not only being on stage, but being on stage to follow a big band that would bring in a crowd, and having that experience at a young age of playing for larger audiences. And now it's sort of gone into a more, I would like to say, like a DIY kind of style. You have a lot of bands that are booking shows for themselves, just a lot less reliance on other people and more bands taking the initiative and doing it themselves.
Listen, I got to jump in on that one because I can't back that up enough. You have to take it on yourself. At the end of the day, wouldn't this be a great job to have, right?
Absolutely.
Wouldn't this be a great job to have? So you got to remember that there is a business to the art, and in every art and every form of art, there is a business to it. And the way things are going now, you got to take it on yourself. So just make sure you're doing all of the right things. If I throw a few tips out there, and you're doing a lot of those things, it's awesome. You got to be all over the necessary social platforms, but not just as yourself. You got to be on there as your, as your persona, as your music page and that sort of thing. So let's plug where we can get some of your music. The album New Romantics on all of the regular digital download platforms.
You can find it on iTunes, Spotify, Apple Music, Google Music. It's on almost every single streaming service that you can find online. You can also download it at on my Bandcamp, bobbysproat.bandcamp.com.
Awesome.
You can find me on Facebook at Bobby Sproat Music. You can find me on Twitter at Bobby Sproat, Instagram at Bobby Sproat, Snapchat at Bobby Sproat. I try my best to be on every form of social media that I can.
Yep, you have to. And not only that, can I just say, why wouldn't you? Like, honestly,
it doesn't hurt.
How much did any of that cost you?
Nothing. You just maybe like 5 minutes of my time to sign up, and that's about it.
Right. So, at New Music Today, that'd be great. At WePodcast.ca, that'd be great too. Let's get one more song in here from you. So again, from the debut album New Romantics, this is Bobby Sproat, and this one is called Different People here on New Music Today.
This one's my favorite.
I'm not saying people change, but people change. I'm saying different people are different people to different people. Now, baby, I'm not saying you and I are different people, but opposites attract. So why don't you come in closer? You could stay the night, stay as long as you want. Just hold tight and don't let go. Stay under the sheets, I'll give you all that you need. Come on, baby, get close to me. And why don't you come, make me feel alive again? Come, make us feel like more than friends. And I won't stop if you wanna come again. Cause baby, quite frankly, we're different people. You push away and I pull you in. Just let me kiss your perfect skin. And I won't stop if you wanna come again. Cause baby, quite frankly, we're different people. I'm not saying people think before they speak. I'm saying different people are different people to different people. Now, baby, I'm not saying that you think before you speak. So stick around so I can show you what I'm made of. Why don't you come, make me feel alive again? Come, make us feel like more than friends. And I won't stop if you wanna come again. Cause baby, quite frankly, we're different people. You push away and I pull you in. Just let me kiss your perfect skin. And I won't stop if you wanna come again. Cause baby, quite frankly, we're different people. Oh. I give everything I've got, and you take everything you want. Oh. You push, I pull, we're different people. I give, you take, we're different people. I bend, you break, we're different people. We're different. Why don't you come, make me feel alive again? Come, make us feel like more than friends. And I won't stop if you wanna come again. Cause baby, quite frankly, we're different people. You push away and I pull you in. Just let me kiss your perfect skin. And I won't stop if you wanna come again. Cause baby, quite frankly, we're different people. We're different people. We're different people. We're different people. Ooh. We're different people. We're different people. And I won't stop if you wanna come again. Cause baby, quite frankly, we're different people.
Different People is Bobby Sproat, and it's from his debut album, New Romantics, here on New Music Today. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolute pleasure to have you come in. How much yourself do you allow into your songs?
I always feel that if you don't let yourself 100% in, you're not really putting out a song to the potential that it can be. So if you listen to my music, you get me.
Where are we going to get you in the days and weeks to come playing around town? I know you're at Manchester an awful lot.
Absolutely. I play at the Manchester Pub on Olette every Thursday night from 10 to 1:30.
Mm-hmm.
You can catch me at Thompson House. You can catch me at a couple other places doing my cover gigs. But once the original gigs start coming back in, you can imagine you're going to catch me every single place you can find.
Right on. And we will always keep you updated on what Bobby is up to by following New Music Today on all the aforementioned social platforms. We've got the show there as well. Thanks again for being a part of this platform. And if you would like to submit your music, please give me a shout. Absolutely would love to hear from you. Again, you can find the show on Facebook. You can find it on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Snapchat. It's all there, and it's all the same. It's all at New Music Today, and you can always send me an email, Corey, that's Corey, Corey at newmusictoday.ca. WePodcast is a fantastic platform. I'm so proud of what we're doing here. I want you to check out some of my other friends and colleagues that are doing some absolutely wonderful shows as well. My producer, who's doing always works so hard for me on this show, and Joe, we sure do appreciate your help. Joe does a show called Bad Man Reviews. He and Justin do that show, and I think on his next show he's going to be talking to the folks who've just started up a really cool store here in Windsor called Wizards of Walkerville. So check out Bad Man Reviews on the WePodcast Network. Thanks again for being a part of New Music Today. This has been another basement session on the WePodcast Network. I'm Corey Robertson.